What is the purpose of your business? Do you have a purpose? And what are you doing about the environment, except harming the environment? Are you using only fossil fuels, or are you also investing in solar energy and wind energy and so on? What about poor people? Do you care about them? By the way, if companies don't care about poor people, or they don't care about low wages, who's going to buy your products? If you don't leave enough money in the hands of people to buy necessities, you're going to close your factory. So there is a little suicidal thinking when you only reward the shareholders. So the old philosophy, as I said, was different. We think that the movement toward a broader view of a business was originally called CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility. You remember that language, corporate social responsibility? That took the form of philanthropy. I'm a good business. I'm not selfish. I'll give money to the Cancer Fund or to the Girl Scouts. Philanthropy is no longer enough, especially if your company is harming the environment. So you look, the new concept, Michael Porter was very important in developing CSV, Corporate Shared Value. Corporate shared value is, again, sharing the value with the stakeholders. I've developed something called brand activism. Maybe I can show you what I mean. My original work on the social dimension of business was called Corporate Social Responsibility, and we studied 45 companies to see what they're giving to society, back to society. We learned a lot. We were very proud of a lot of the companies that had a cause, that wanted to make life better in some way. It could have been to fight poverty, or to fight hunger, or to have better housing for people, whatever. Usually it was a cause related to their business, because then we believe more in their sincerity if they're improving a cause that's related to their business. Now, brand activism, I just finished writing, says that you're not doing enough with your brand. Your brand is probably just talking about the value proposition, namely lowest prices at Walmart, best design at Apple. Sure, your brand should stand for your value proposition, but it should now also show your values. Your values as an organization. Do you care about more than just money making? So moving from just good value that you create to expressing to your public through your brand what you care about is important. And you know, when I choose a brand from 3 competitors, I will always lean to the one that is more ecological, more caring about the world, than the one that's just selling me a good product to make money. So watch for that your brand should be an active brand, something in charge of making the world a better place. Share what you think your company's values are. So really, there's a lot of new marketing ideas. I'm close to closing my talk. Each one of these has happened recently. Little things like, are you seeing your brand as being about telling a story? How important it is to enliven your brand with the story of how you were created as a company. You remember how Hewlett-Packard, that wonderful story about being in a garage and coming to the idea that they're going to make better printers and so that wonderful story of Haier, H-E-I-E-R, that the head of Haier, when the product wasn't selling well, at the factory he had all the people come, and they were expecting just a talk. But why did he have in his hands a hammer? Whoever comes to give a speech with a hammer, at which point he goes and he crashes into every refrigerator. Our refrigerators aren't good enough. They remembered that. So maybe it's time for you to do that in your own company in some way. In other words, make your product more excellent and do it dramatically and tell your story. So world-class marketers are going to be responsible for company growth, for expressing the customer's values and in relationship to the company's values. The best thing you could say is, you know, Mr. Customer, we know your values, and there are values too. And have an entrepreneurial and innovative culture, continuous opportunity scanning and scoring. Scenario planning means imagining 2 possible or 3 possible scenarios. What would we do if there's a recession? Think about it in advance. What would we do if there's growing and growing prosperity? How would we handle that? Use big data and market analytics to get more customer insight, and definitely use a combination of old and new marketing, the old marketing with its commercials and so on, and the new marketing, and aim at achieving customer engagement and advocacy and brand ambassadorship. Because if you do that, and I'm going to skip this, if you do that, I always say, within 5 years, if you're in the same business you are in today, you're going to be out of business. Because the world's been changing and you haven't changed. So thank you very much for being with the Kotlers, and I wish you, I know you're the competitors of a lot of American companies, but let the best companies win. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 谢谢，谢谢。Wait a minute, Philip. Wait a minute.
Okay, sure.
Wait. 来，我们再次以热烈的掌声，谢谢菲利普·科特勒先生如此敬业和精彩的演讲。